Thank you all for attending. Wow, what a widespread audience. And this just reflects the universality of candlesticks because they can be used in all markets and all time frames. And we always start with the disclosure, just reminding you that there's a loss of trading in any market in any time frame. So just to give you an overview of what we'll be doing in this relatively short session, I'm going to be doing market analysis on these for the first part. So look at the euro, SMCI, all these. And then Paul's going to mention a special discount, and we're going to be increasing the price for Market Central. But Paul and I decided to do this special webcast and make a recording of it before we increase prices to give those who are interested a chance to beat the price increase. Then I'll get back on and do these especially popular markets. And then Paul will get back on with any questions. And as shown at the bottom of the slide, even if you don't trade any of these markets, all the strategies shown will apply to any market. And we'll be adding Bitcoin. Forgot to put in Bitcoin. Nobody looks at Bitcoin, right? And we'll look at Bitcoin also in this session. So the first request was the euro. And let me just switch the application so we can look at the euro. All right. And so we're going to look at the euro dollar. And by the way, what you see here on the right side are some of the markets we cover every day in the recap. So every day we look at the S&P within Market Central, S&P, the Dow, crude, gold, bonds, these Forex markets, Bitcoin, of course, and some other markets. And we also make recordings of them. The vast majority of those members of Market Central who watch the recap or our special sessions like on international markets or options will watch them as a video. So everything we're doing within the Market Central is recorded. So first request the euro. And again, even if you don't trade Forex or euro specifically, the strategies I'll be talking about can be used in any market. So let me just make this a little bigger here. So one of our favorite strategies is change of polarity. And by the way, Paul will talk about this, but as a bonus, I just literally today did a special topic on using change of polarity. So Paul talked to you about that, but I just happened to notice that's one of the things on this chart here. So essentially, change of polarity could be either old support becoming new resistance, or old resistance becoming new support. So in this case, what we're looking at is this prior support area, all right? As long as you have 2 points, once it breaks, in theory, it becomes resistance because all the buyers here might become, they're obviously very upset. And then if they're losing money, they may decide to liquidate or exit their position at break even right over here. My first resistance area, the short-term trend is up to a little bit more neutral. And then above that, we're going to look at these resistance areas right up here. And by the way, this is Nison candle scanner. So there's something called a bear sash and so forth. But anyway, right over here, this zone right over here, this is actually a negative. Now, what happens is when the market breaks above a resistance area, as I mentioned, old resistance should be support. So in theory, once it got above this resistance area, there should have been support. Ideally, if it closes above it, it should have been support. But nonetheless, it got above it. And a failure to hold above a resistance area is a negative. I call it falling off the roof. I came up with a lot of cool expressions because the Japanese will say if you break above resistance, the Japanese say it's like climbing the roof and then taking away the ladder. So here it got above that. And when this happens, what's nice is you get a target of the most recent low right over here. So the target was reached, a bullish engulfing pattern. Forex, obviously very easy to short. You could short it over here, keep a stop. There's always a price that says you're wrong. Keep a stop above here, and my target would have been here. You could have gotten that over here, but there's no bottom reversal signals. Here was that bullish engulfing pattern. That's what the plus E is. and the green candle wrapping around the red real body. So you could have exited there on your short position. But a lot more I could be talking about, but I could spend a good 5-10 minutes on this chart. But just to show you how easy it is to combine Western technicals, price targets, and strategies on in any market, any time frame. Here it's Forex. So resistance over here, first resistance over here, second resistance right over here. My support is down over here. And then one of the questions I'm asked a lot is, say the market breaks under here, where's next support? How do you find next support? Well, you go back as far as you need to. And in this case, we look at a weekly chart. So right now we're looking at a weekly. And based on this chart, if it closes under the lows here, which is the recent low, doesn't mean it's going to get here, but I really don't see any critical support until the low is down here. So that's something we have to keep an eye on. Obviously, it doesn't mean it's going to get there. We could have candle reversal signals down here, then the market rallies. But just to give you a sense that we'll go back as far as necessary to find a prior high or low. Okay, so next one. Again, I'll just look at a few of them now, then I'll turn it over to Paul for a couple of minutes. But you can see whatever I'm talking about now, you could apply to your markets. Okay, so in this one, SMCI, short-term trend is up. Okay, the plus means a rising window, that's a gap higher, right? So in theory, the gaps become a support or resistance area. So that's first support. But candles in context, looking at the overall technical picture, this market has so many gaps in it that they're really not that important. What I'll do is look at a weekly chart to get a better sense of if there's any gaps in the weekly, and there aren't. So, so now you see a window over here, but remember, this is only through Tuesday. You don't know its official gap or window until the end of the session. All right, so let me go back to the daily. All right, so this to me is minor, much more important. So I'm going to actually get rid of this. Is the multi-tested support zone right here to here. Right over here. This is almost a bullish engulfing pattern. It's something called a bull stash. I'm not going to get into that now. But it's a green real body that we're seeing now. And look how many red real bodies it's kind of wrapping around. So that to me is the more important first support area. The trend is up because there is a gap higher, but I'm not really using it as significant support or resistance right over here. Now I mentioned that because of so many windows or gaps, I normally don't pay attention to them. The exception is, there's always an exception, is if it's confirmed. So notice the minus W, the falling window here. See how it's confirmed as resistance? And see how it stalled again right over here? So normally, while I'm not looking at many of these gaps as support or resistance, because it was confirmed as resistance, I am calling this my first resistance area right over here. And then above that would be the potential highs over here. But essentially now the market is in what we call, the Japanese call a box range. Okay, what we call a kind of a lateral trading environment. So that defines our near-term support and resistance areas. Okay, we'll look at next is field here. The trend is down. Okay, and I'm going to be looking at the low over here. Okay, not enough of a downtrend for this to be a hammer. It has to be more of a downtrend. But this long lower shadow shows an area of demand. Because what happened is the market opened here, got down to here, and opened here, got down to here, and then closed right near the highs of the session. So strong buying interest. No bullish signals at all down here. All right. So the trend is down, but this is potential for support. And looking at resistance is right up here, the long upper shadow. And what we'll do in the analysis when we do the recap each day, if there's really nothing close by, you know, I'll look at an intraday chart. Some of our market certified Nison trainers will look at Fibonacci, and I do also. But what I like doing, this is a daily chart. I'll look at an intraday chart. Even if you don't trade intraday, sometimes you'll get signals intraday that you don't see on the daily chart. Okay, so based on this, all right, so this was let me go back to the daily. Okay, so we have our first resistance area. Okay, on the daily up here, it might be a little bit over here also, but that's a long ways from here. So I'm going to look at an intraday, and notice what we see on the intraday. Okay, there's an hourly. See a little resistance here? Right over here, all right? And so based on that, let's look at what this level is based on the daily chart. Okay, so now we have something, it's interesting, I mentioned because of the two highs here, there might be resistance. And indeed, on the intraday chart, we could see there was resistance there over a period of a couple of days, tested many times. So based on that, my first resistance is over here. And my next resistance is here, and then potential support down here. And then under that, we're going to look at the change of polarity. The resistance, 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 got above it over here, closed above it. So the zone becomes potential support. And this is a great trading strategy for breakouts. Once the market closes above this resistance, and it did here, but really over here, you can think about buying it and keep a stop under the change of polarity. Once again, some more details on that special topics session. Anyway, so that would be my second support. And finally, I'll look at Micron and then turn it over to Paul. Then I'll be looking at NVIDIA and Bitcoin and all other cool markets. And then Paul will stay around for any questions. Okay, Micron, the short-term trend is up. Looking for a resistance right over here. It's actually a zone. Very often a doji during a rally becomes resistance. Didn't quite get there, but you can see how it stalled right near that level. So I'm going to make it a zone over here. Lots of gaps, lots of windows here. Now, normally a falling window, the top of the falling window is resistance. It got above it, but didn't close above it. I really like to see a close above it to confirm the window's resistance area. But nonetheless, on a closing basis, it would be the window, maybe around 102.5. But really on an intraday basis, it would be over here. And right over here, we have a couple of things going on. It's a ways down from here, but this market, Micron moves a lot, even in a couple of days, as we can see. So I have support down here for two reasons. Number one, what do you think these two lines are? Old resistance. What becomes all together now? New support. That's reason number one. And who else out there in candlestick land can see why, another reason why this area might become support? Right, the rising window, the big rising window. This is called, in Western technicals, this is called a breakaway gap because there's a resistance area and the market gaps above it. The force is so strong. And there's also a breakaway gap on the downside of the market gaps. And so here, let me show you something interesting, how we could use just classic Western technicals. Here's a box range. Candles don't give price targets, but you could use all your Western signals. And once you have a box range, once the market breaks out, this old resistance, this box range should be your minimum target. Doesn't mean it's going to get there. It's going to be a target. So, and the same thing, if it broke on the downside, we'd just flip it around, and that would become your target. All right, so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Paul for a couple of minutes to talk about the special pricing, the special topics I mentioned about the change polarity, and then I'll be getting back on to NVIDIA and Tesla and Bitcoin and so forth. Over to you, Paul.
Thanks, Steve. And make sure you stick on, because when Steve comes back and talks about Bitcoin and the other charts, you're really going to want to pay attention to that. Even if you don't trade it, it will absolutely give you the advantage in the market. So first of all, Happy New Year to everybody. I know we're already a week into the new year and the time is going to fly. I am now at our special page link. I just put it into the chat as well, candlecharts.com/marketcentral. We have a couple of very exciting things that if you're not already a member, you're going to want to pay attention to. If you already are a member, we have something cool, a new bonus session for you coming up as well. So first of all, we have a countdown timer here. If you're watching this live, we have 5 days and 4 hours and change to take advantage of this special offer. If you're watching via recording, this number will be smaller. Once this number goes to 0, a couple things are going to happen. One, the listed price to become a member will go up, because what we're doing now is we are giving you an extra savings off of last year's prices. This is your last chance to get last year prices, and then we're giving you a discount on top. So you're going to beat the price increase, you're going to get extra savings, and all members will have access to our next mentorship session with Steve. Mentorship sessions were created based on feedback from members about little things that they need in order to become a better trader. So I'll go over that in a couple of minutes. But we have 4 different ways to become a member. Depending on you, everybody's different, no pressure to do anything. We have a test drive, 7 days of access, and I'm going to show you what you get for just $24. This is not recurring, means you pay $24. At the end of the 7 days, you're done. Okay? You were more than welcome to then upgrade to one of our other plans, but this is not recurring. Just gives you the opportunity to give us $24. We're going to give you 7 days worth of access to all of the feature benefits that I'm going to show you in a couple minutes. Next, our monthly plan. This is a recurring plan. Normally it's $149, but nobody, again, will be able to pay $149 because A, the $149 list price is going to go up once that countdown timer hits 0. But in addition to getting last year's prices, we're actually giving you $50 off of that. So if you want to become a monthly member, you would pay just $99 per month and you'd be grandfathered at that rate, meaning when we do raise prices, you still would stay on the $99 monthly. Doing the same thing for annual, normally it's $975. We're giving you $100 savings off the annual to make it only $875, again, grandfathered. And then lifetime, normally $1275, which will be going up after that countdown hits 0, but it's on sale off of last year's prices down to $1075. So let me show you a little bit about what you get to become a member. First of all, I wrote up here, you get ideas, guidance, and mentorship. That's from Steve and our team of Nison certified trainers and myself. We're going to provide you with daily live and recorded videos that you can watch on your own time. We know we have students in 85 countries, so there's never one good time for everybody to watch. Everything we do is recorded. Here's some great testimonials. You can go through all of these. This is incredible information, feedback from some of our members. Now, let me show you about feature sections. These are all of the different features of Market Central. And I'm not going to read all of these to you, but strategy session where you can request markets, kind of like what Steve is doing today. We do this twice a week. Every day, Monday through Friday, a daily recap. Every Wednesday, we do an option session talking about option strategies. Every day, a chart of the day, which is a short educational piece teaching you something about how to read charts. Every day, Monday through Friday, a morning trade setup, meaning a trade that we're potentially doing that day. Currency Corner, every Tuesday we offer a currency session where we get deeper into Forex and crypto. Every weekend we post a casual trader video, something that you're going to want to keep an eye out for the upcoming week. We have special topics. I'm going to get into that in a second. We put up a weekly chart challenge to make sure you understand how to use candles. Every Friday we do a live and post a weekly recap, getting you prepared for the next coming week. Mentorship session, I mentioned that Steve will be doing another one. We have a list of, I believe, 10 of them now. They're short, they're about half-hour sessions, 20 to 30 minutes, somewhere in that area, where we go over information that is requested by our members. In fact, the one Steve is doing was requested by 3 different members of Market Central in the last couple of weeks. So we convinced Steve to do it. We have a Discord group where we can post charts and questions and all kinds of stuff. Now, here's some fun stuff. In addition to having better value on our annual and lifetime plan, if you become an annual or a lifetime member, you'll get access to, I believe there are 24 different, what we call special topic training sessions. These are strategies, okay? They're all about an hour. Some of them are a little bit longer. Some of them are just a little bit under an hour, but they are going to go over various strategies. These are all recorded. And again, if you're an annual or lifetime member, you'll have full access to this. For some of my favorite, one on support resistance. A lot of information on how to identify support resistance, which I think is critical for all traders. A whole session Steve did on his trading principles. And then you see credit spreads, debit spreads, for option strategies, how to trade volatile markets. Guess what, folks? We're going to have volatile markets. Trade management, how to manage your trades. A lot of people know how to get in. They don't know how to get out. So we actually added an extra one just on the exit strategies. There's a whole lot more. You get bonuses. And then here's a listing of our mentors and more information. So again, let me just review the pricing before I give it back to Steven. He's going to go through more charts. The prices that are crossed out here are 2024 prices. Those are going up. In addition to giving you last year's prices, we're also giving you an extra discount on our monthly, annual, and lifetime plan. And you would be grandfathered on the monthly and annual. Lifetime, literally, you pay one time, and you're a lifetime member, okay? Notice what we have here, special topics. Again, we give those to you for an annual and a lifetime plan. You get access to all of these special topic sessions, again, if you're an annual or lifetime member. So I put the link in. If you want to see clips of a chart of the day or a casual trader, options, currency, or chart challenge, you can click on that button and watch a short, I think they're under a minute each, just to give you a little taste of what some of the sessions are like. Check out our testimonials. And remember, once this countdown timer hits 0, the promo prices will be gone. These prices that are crossed out will actually be higher. So if you are looking for guidance, ideas, mentorship, direction on how to improve your trading skills, become a member. And we look forward to working with you here at Market Central. So Steve, I'm going to hand it back to you so that you can go over some more charts and analyze them for them.
Great. Okay, I'll take over. Great. Okay, thanks, Paul. Okay, we go over to this here. And Paul will be back to answer any of your questions. I see a lot of questions popping up. So we'll go over the S&P, and here again, you see a list of the markets we do each day. And one of them is the S&P. So let me just pull that up there. These are actually these are support and resistance areas I had from our recent recap. So trend is neutral. Here it's in the box range. The S&P is in the box range. All you need is 2 resistance areas and 2 support areas, and you have a box range. So this is my first resistance, and we're kind of in the middle of the box. That's why the short-term trend is neutral. And above that would be these major highs right over here as a resistance area. This one's interesting. Anybody recognize this pattern of the green wrapping around the red real body? One of the basic candle signals. And don't worry if you don't, because one of the benefits of Market Central, we have a glossary in there, and you could refresh your memory if you need to. And also there's some more, I don't want to say obscure, but less common patterns that people are familiar with, like a bull sash. That's a +H, so you'll be able to see that within Market Central. Anyway, so anybody recognize this? Bullish engulfing pattern. Yep, most of you got that. And the reason this was such good support, though many candle signals could be used as support or a resistance area. And that's what happened here. But notice over here, there's a rising window, okay? And the bottom of the rising window is the whole rising window is support, with the major support at the bottom of the window. So it's actually a zone here, right over here. Or if you want, you can make this S1 first support and second support. But that's why I'm not surprised when the market got down here. It rallied, but it's now looking as it's approaching resistance as a resistance area. But this is an important support. And keep in mind, when we say important, doesn't mean it's going to hold. It just means that there are many reasons why it's potentially support. Also keep in mind that I like looking at horizontal support and resistance. Sometimes I look at Fibonacci retracements, obviously the candles, but you may have your favorite Western signals. So just throw them onto your charts once you get the correct candlestick education from us, and then add your own insights based on your expertise in the particular market you're focused on and Western signals that you may be specifically looking at. Okay, we will now look at NVIDIA. Whoops. Let me just make this a little small with these big swings. And by the way, the Nison candle scanner, all these signals that are that I've defined, like this is a bearish engulfing pattern and so forth. This is all on TradingView, which is a free platform, and NCS is an add-on that we offer onto TradingView. Anyway, so here we have a bearish engulfing pattern right over here. All right, but let me get to this first. Okay, here's another one. Now, this bearish engulfing pattern did two things. One, look at the size of the red real body that essentially wrapped around two green real bodies. It broke support at the rising window right over here. So that support is now broken. And so far, notice where the sell-off stopped today. Plus W, a rising window. Okay. Now there's no bottom reversal sign, so there's very strong downside momentum, and that increases the odds of this window being broken. But right now, this is our first support area. It's also a change of polarity, and the next support area is just because of the low here. Question. This is a red candle wrapping around a green real body. Many of you will recognize that. Let me do the arrow here as a bearish engulfing pattern, like over here. See, this is a red candle wrapping around a green real body. That's a bearish engulfing pattern. It took on extra importance because it confirmed resistance. The market did sell off, right? So this green wrapping around the red, NCS, Nison candle scanner, minus E, picked it up as bearish engulfing pattern. How come there's no minus E here, like it is over here? Isn't this a red wrapping around the green? Why isn't that a bearish engulfing pattern? Why didn't NCS pick that up as a bearish engulfing pattern? Because the trend was wrong. A bearish engulfing pattern has to come after an uptrend. Was this an uptrend? No. And one of the things that NCS takes into account, trend, and this just really echoes the importance of getting the correct education, whether you use NCS or not. If you use NCS, you would know this is not a bearish engulfing pattern, but even if you didn't with the education, you'd know a bearish engulfing pattern has to come during an uptrend. So you would not be selling it here. A lot of traders who just look at the internet or don't have the correct education see, hey, red wrapping around the green, it's bearish, I'm selling here, only to have this happen. So this is what education is all about. Anyway, so this would be the second support area. And as to resistance, it would be the high of the bearish engulfing pattern right over here. And here again, we can look at an intraday to see if anything happened. This arrow is just based on the daily chart. We could look at the intraday to see if anything happened within the day to see if there's a potential resistance area earlier. And not much different. Maybe we could do a change of polarity here, but it wouldn't be much different. So, and here you could really see the change of polarity right over here on the hourly. So let's go back to the daily. And then above this, just as you probably know, normally we would look at a weekly chart. And let me get rid of all these here. And the reason the market is having problems is, again, you go back as far as necessary to find resistance. And we look at the weekly and look at this. Okay, from the week of November 18th, that's exactly where the market's stalled so far. If it gets above that, I really can't give you a resistance area because there's really no prior highs to work off of. So keep an eye. The sell-off today wasn't too surprising considering that it was a major high made a few months ago. Okay, that was NVIDIA. We will look at let's look at Tesla. Let me see something. Yeah, this was interesting. Okay, because Tesla was one of the requests we got before, and I was wondering why I had a line on the daily chart over here, right? Over here, around 426 and a quarter. I still talk in fractions. I've been on Wall Street a long time. I'm still used to talking in fractions. 426 and a quarter. And I remember, I think what I did was I went to an intraday chart. And let me get rid of this and I'll show you what I did. All right. On the intraday chart, there was a falling window. Sometimes you'll have a window on an intraday you don't have on a daily chart, because on the daily chart, if the price overlaps like it did here, see this is one day, this is another day. So on a daily chart, the price would overlap, so there'd be no gap down. But on the intraday chart, because it's the last candle on the last hour and the first candle on the next session, there was a gap here. Okay, I call this hidden support or resistance. Even if you don't trade intraday, it's good to know about because it would affect the support or resistance areas on the daily chart. So I had this as a resistance area when I talked about this a few days ago. And because of this on the intraday chart, and look what happened. So let me go back to the daily. So that's why I got that as a resistance area when I did the analysis, maybe over here, because I looked at the intraday. So, and then the next resistance potentially, and this is what's nice about NCS also. Sometimes you might miss a small rising or falling window, but this picked it up. Okay, I may have missed it without this. So this would be the second resistance. Might be a little bit over here because it was a high, but the more important stuff is over here. As to support, and the trend I'm going to have is mainly down neutral. This is almost, it's similar to bullish engulfing pattern. It's called a bull sash pattern. But here again, okay, we're using the change of polarity. Right over here. To me, that's a support area. There might be a little bit over here only because, like I said, it's a swing low, but this is more important. And this is why I like small windows, small gaps. Small window there, it gives you a very tight support and resistance area. When there's a large gap, the whole zone is support or resistance. But when you have a really small window, when you have a really small window, it gives you a tighter support or resistance area. So that's why I like those. Okay, but I'm viewing the trend as net down. Okay, in spite of a little bit of rally over here. Okay, and just a couple more. And I appreciate your patience. We wanted to try to make it short because we know how valuable time is. Box range. A lot of markets are in the box range. Top of the box. Bottom of the box. A little bullish engulfing pattern here. How it held as support. Now you're all candle experts. Why is that not a bearish engulfing pattern? Red wrapping around the green. What's the problem? A bearish engulfing pattern has to come after a downtrend, an uptrend. This was a downtrend, right? So that is not a bearish engulfing pattern. You would not have been suckered into going short here because you're candle experts or on your way to becoming candle experts. Anyway, support area, resistance, and then not much above it would be these major highs over here. Okay, this is a classic bearish engulfing pattern. So we could actually make it a little bit of a zone because the higher the bearish engulfing pattern becomes resistance over here. And as far as, you know, next resistance area, here's a weekly chart on Amazon. So you could see it's the all-time highs are up here, right over there. That, you know, I showed on the daily chart, which is pretty much over here. First support, and then second support. This whole rising window right over here as our second support area, the zone, with the key support at the bottom of the rising window. And based on change of polarity, if the market closes under this old support should be resistance. If it closes above this, if you buy in the breakout, this old resistance area should be a support area, so you could set a protective stop somewhere under here. Always think about the risk reward. Okay, I probably would not do a trade because if it closed here, yes, it broke above resistance, but my target would be here, and my stop out area would be here. So it's a one-to-one risk reward. I would not do the trade. So be careful about trading based on the very limited or somewhat limited information I'm doing in these charts, because there's a lot more you need to know about successfully trading with candles just beside the shape of the candle signals. You need to know about risk reward, the importance of trend, and so forth. And we'll finish up with your my favorite, Bitcoin. Okay, so here we have a bearish. This is calling it a bear sash, because if the opening is marginally different than the prior close, even if it's a cent or two, it's a bear sash. But essentially, it's really a bearish engulfing pattern. All right, so that becomes the first resistance. The trend really turned negative short term. The reason for that is this should have been support. Okay, and this just echoes what we talked. That's why we give different support levels. So this change of polarity here, once it closed above it, in theory should have been support. The market broke under it. The failure to hold the new highs is a bearish falling off the roof. It gives a potential target. It doesn't mean it's going to get there, but it gives a target to down here. And that actually is our next support area. Actually, the next support area would be here. Okay, resistance, resistance, resistance. Got above it. See this resistance area over here? Got above it. Look what became support. Look what became support today. All right. So this is potential first support. Then under it, this to me is more important because of the hammer. That's what a plus H is, a bullish engulfing pattern. A lot of bottoming signals. Doesn't mean it's going to hold, but there are a lot of bottoming signals there. So that is my second support area. Above here, above this, my next resistance area would be the high of the bearish engulfing pattern and the shooting star over here. Sorry, the doji. As mentioned in the first part of the session, a doji often becomes resistance, and that was kind of confirmed with the bearish engulfing pattern. So that wraps it up. I'll turn it over to you, Paul. Why don't you take control if you have any thing to show on the website. And thank you so much for joining. Sorry to run a little bit over. We try to keep it about 30 minutes or so, but a lot of good things to talk about. Okay, over to you, Paul.
Thanks, Steve. And I hope everybody who watched that live and watching that via recording picked up a couple things. Like Steve said, you know, there's a lot more to reading a chart the right way than just what Steve was able to cover in this short session. And that's what we provide at Market Central with the mentorship. You could read a book, you can do anything to learn about trading, but to be able to apply that and to have a trading skill is really critical. I have people that have memorized candle patterns but have not become a master trader. Why? It's way more important to understand the psychology of what the candles are telling you than to try to memorize the names of the patterns. So, somebody just said, what is Market Central? It is really your companion. We know that trading can be lonely. A lot of times you're sitting in front of a screen. I know a lot of people start talking to the screen, hoping a chart goes up or down or whatever direction you want. But Market Central is really your trading companion. We have guidance and mentorship from Steve and our team of mentors of what we call Nison certified trainers with decades upon decades of trading experience. Okay. And we do that through a variety. I'll just show you again, and you can see this on the page. All of these sessions are held on a regular daily or weekly basis, depending on which session, but they are there to help you. Somebody told me last week that they finally got the idea of what Market Central can do for them when they were sitting on the side of the road and they got a flat tire and they called AAA. I don't know if AAA is an international company, but here in the US, if you get a flat tire, if you have a AAA membership, you call them. Somebody comes with a tow truck and the ability to jumpstart your car or to fix a flat tire. And you don't have to worry because somebody with knowledge and expertise comes to your side. That's what Market Central really is in the world of trading. You would be able to, in a strategy session, request a market to be analyzed. And I don't know if everybody understands what value that has, but if you're thinking about making a trade and you're able to say, hey, Steve Nison, or one of the Nison certified trainers, can you analyze this chart for me objectively? They will analyze it for you in what we call strategy sessions. I don't know about you, but when I first started trading, I had zero confidence in my own ability to look at a chart and know if it's going to go up or down. Now that I've been trading for a longer time and I have candle knowledge and I watch Steve and our team analyze charts and do different things to manipulate charts, different time frames, different indicators, my confidence is through the roof as far as being able to look at any chart, any time frame, and take advantage. So even if we didn't cover a market today, Steve didn't cover a market today that you actually trade, you would be able to learn how Steve analyzes charts, but you'd also be able to request your chart in a strategy session that we do twice a week. That by itself, if you really think about it, that by itself could easily be worth what a lifetime membership is. And if you read some of these testimonials that we got from actual members, let's see if I can find the one quickly. Christine, here he is. Became a member of Market Central on March 25th of last year. Today's April 4th, so she wrote that 10 days later. She already made enough to pay for her lifetime subscription 3 times over. Okay? Just think about that, folks. We're offering you sale prices on last year's prices. When this countdown timer is 0, these go up. So you won't be able to get a monthly at $149 or an annual at $975 or a lifetime at $1275. Those prices will be higher. So we're not only giving you last year's prices, but we're actually giving you an additional discount off of that. In addition, the test drive is only offered during this promotion. We're going to get rid of that as well. We're giving people the ability to sign up for a test drive for 7 days. If you like it, you come back and sign up. Okay? If there are any questions at this point, I'd be happy to answer it. The link is candlecharts.com/marketcentral. We are recording this, so we'll be getting the recording out to you very soon. So that way you can review the information that Steve gave about those charts. I did get a couple questions here. So first one, is NCS part of a membership of Market Central? No, there are 2 different things. Market Central and Nison Candle Scanner are what we call our 2 powerful tools that will help you trade. So there are 2 different things. We do have a bundle that we combine those 2 tools. We call it Power Tools, actually. If you're interested, you could either go to our site into the Programming Services shop area, and you could see the Power Tools, which will be listed in the Tools section, or you could just send me an email. My email is paul@candlecharts.com. Question is, yep, and I can't be there live. Yep. So just fill in the blank. I live in blank. I can't be there live to attend. That's why everything we do is recorded. Notice here, items marked with an asterisk. So strategy session, daily recap, options outlook, currency corner, weekly recap, mentorship sessions. They're held live, but all sessions are recorded for your review. So whether you're in India, Australia, UK, Canada, any part of the US, South America, wherever, you can always go back in and watch the recording. And that's why we do it. Again, we have students in 85 countries. We have people that have never made a trade before, all the way up to, I spoke to hedge fund managers earlier today that come in and get the same education and knowledge that Steve and team provide. So I hope you take full advantage of this. Again, you've got 5 days and change to take full advantage of this. Once you sign up, your account will be updated inside of candlecharts.com, so you'll be given access immediately to be able to go in and watch the recordings of today's sessions and be able to take full advantage of the trading day coming up. So with that, I don't see any other questions. Candlecharts.com/Market Central. We look forward to working with you here at Market Central, and we'd like to talk about you becoming a member or a part of the candlecharts.com family. Look forward to talking and working with you here at Candlecharts and Market Central. Bye for now.